Eric Muadid, Muadid.com. Let's take a look here at a concept that is normally referred to as follow-through, and this is a way to differentiate and to tell whether a stock you are watching has quality or has the potential of turning into a quality moving breakout candidate. Here we can see what I'm talking about here. If you take this prior monthly closing high, in fact it's a weekly closing high, all data for this IPO, draw a line there, you can see that when the stock moved above that green line, it closed above that line for week number 1, and in week number 2 it closed higher. In other words, it followed through with 2 back-to-back positive weekly gains after the breakout. Now that's how you can tell that a stock might eventually have an upside action. If you observe that the stock broke out and did not follow through, in other words, it had a breakout, we can call that week number 1, and then in week number 2 it failed to close. So let's say this was a prior closing high on a week-to-week breakout basis, so it closed here, and then in the subsequent week it did not close above, so let's say it closed here. So because it did not follow through, in other words, the second week after the breakout was not positive, that tends to be not a follow-through week. So again, it's a simple concept. What you want to insist here is that a stock you are watching, whenever it breaks out, it tends to have good reaction. In other words, indicating that it might have legs. Here we can see perfect example. It closed higher on that breakout week and closed even higher the week after that. In other words, this is what we can call a follow-through week. So this second week after the breakout was positive, which is a follow-through week. Whenever you see a stock with a history of doing this, it tends to be a better quality candidate if you have a couple of stocks that you're trying to decide which one you should pay more attention to. Also, this is more important on the weekly, and also you can insist that on the daily that you see the same type of follow-through. Here we can see that if we take this daily closing high and draw a line from there, you can see here that again the stock did close above that prior daily closing high and followed through on the second day. So that second day closing above the breakout day is what we call a follow-through. You want to see that type of action because it indicates that down the road this one could be a good candidate. In case it breaks out again, it might suggest that there's some interest in the stock and that it could have some upside. As an example, take a look at WB, which broke out. Let's even use this weekly closing high here, and you can see that at the breakout it closed higher for the first breakout week, and then on the second breakout week it followed through. And as you can see that the stock would go on to record a nice run in the coming weeks. In fact, if you take a look at all subsequent breakouts that the stock has had, you can see that it tends to break out and then again follows through, has another positive weekly gain after the breakout. And also similarly here you can see another breakout. Finally, after it closed above the prior weekly closing high, it followed through. And so this is the type of action you are looking for. In fact, if you take a look at the daily, at the breakout here, the initial breakout right there, you can see that the stock broke out, closed higher for the day on a new daily closing high, short term, and then had another positive gain the day immediately after that. And you can see that after that quality breakout here with a follow through, the stock has gone on a major run. So really what you're looking for are candidates or stocks that have that type of action. So in the case of YIN, we can see that you can use the current weekly closing high as an alert level. In other words, if the stock breaks out above 15.88, which is the current all-time weekly closing high, any breakout above that is where you want to take a position and see what happens. And of course, once it breaks out and moves above 15.88, you want to insist that the following week after closing above this level, it confirms momentum by closing above that on the second week, And also you'd like to see a follow through day. In other words, the day it closes above this 15.88 level, you want the day immediately following that breakout to be another positive gain, confirming that yes, indeed, the stock has momentum. So again, what we're looking at here is what we call follow through. And stocks with follow through tend to be your high quality gainers down the road. So insist on stocks that give you this type of quality breakouts whenever they clear current and recent resistance levels. Eric Mwathe at mwathe.com. Good luck, peace, and blessings. Blah, blah, blah.